Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Veil Background Information. We're doing an Angels and Demons profile today, and we're going to be talking about with the Kings of Hell now. So I'm going to be starting to go through the Asgardia and things like that, where they fit into my stuff because they are quite heavy influences. This is what happens when you're looking for something to write and you end up reading a book about reading a translated version of the Dictionary Infernal and all the other stuff around it. So, yeah. But just as a note, if there's any particular angels or demons you want me to talk about, please just leave a comment and ask, and I can look into it for you if you're interested. And I should always do this now, this like share and subscribe thing or whatever. I really don't mind. I mean, I'm just glad you're listening to it, so don't worry about that. But anyway, we'll get into it, and as always, I'll do a little quote from where the character's mentioned in one of my stories. Then I'll give you the background information, which is the more important part, really. And then I'll give you my character profile for them in my universe. So, yeah, let's see how we go. Paimon is the most unbiased of our kind. We'll consult him. We'll consult with him, and if he is the one to suggest, we'll consult him. And if he's the one to suggest you have a case, then we'll reconsider our family business. Quote from To Be Weak and Miserable. So for this next group of demons, we're going to be focusing on the Kings of Hell. Specifically, we're focusing on the listing of Asgardia. And this includes Belial, Asmodeus, and Baal as kings previously, and then also these guys we'll talk about. So we're actually going to be dealing with the hierarchy of Hell, and as after Lucifer, the Emperor of Hell, comes the kings, these are demons that are listed in many grimoire, but probably not known much about. Many of them have famous images as depicted in the Dictionary Infernal, and this is one of the main sources for them, although information from wherever I could find them also is included. Our first title king in the listing is Paimon, and is the most obedient of the kings to Lucifer. So Paimon is often titled the third king, and depending on the book source, either the sixth spirit, ninth spirit, or 22nd spirit, depending on your grimoire of choice. Commonly titled as one of the four kings of direction, specifically the West, which always seems unusual when he is depicted as someone riding a camel with frog feet and a handsome face. He is said to be the most obedient of all the kings to Lucifer. Paimon is thought to be weak to Raphael for the joint connection to the westward direction. Paimon is thought to hold a power over 200 legions, teaches arts, science, secrets, and anything that is requested to be known. He grants familiars and can bind others, and is thought to arrive with a procession of men with bells. His name is thought to derive from a word meaning the tinkling of a bell. Depending on your source, Paimon has with him a hefty court that includes two lesser kings of a sort that must be present to aid him in his abilities. These include Nabal and Abila. Although some sources state that they don't have to be present for him, they tend to come as part of his courtly package. The sources also vary on Paimon's past, with many claiming he was a dominion in heaven, and others declaring him a cherub type. Spirion, a bishop, is also said to be part of Paimon's court too, making the fact Paimon appears as a crowned figure on a camel even more obvious. It's said too that he'll speak only in his native language and you're commanded to do otherwise, hinting at an arrogant streak. Now, there is generally the thought that Paimon has power over knowledge, but some claim he has the ability to see into the future. Some say he can do this by summoning spirits or even showing visions of the past and the future to clear away doubts and ensure only truth, no matter how harsh is known. He is thought to answer any question asked of him, but that he also curiously holds power over fish, and has the ability to give dignities and lordships to those that summon him. This makes his whole attire seem even more like a demon that is showing off his might and his powers as a king of kings. In fact, some suggest his guise is a mocking of the three kings in the Nativity story, hinting to their seeming intelligence and wisdom. However, one of the other things with Paimon that is that should he be summoned alone, a sacrifice or offering must be given, which makes the point he's a very powerful demon. Of course, you need to understand that most of the Asgardia demons are ones used in summoning rituals with symbols around them so that That's why the information often just talks about basic descriptions and then what powers they have. They don't often talk about the nasty aspects discussed with other demons previously, so I hope that was interesting, although I apologise if it's a bit here and there, to be honest. So, in the Veil, name Paimon, position King of Hell, story featured in Weak or Miserable, role Judge, gender male. Description: Paimon has a beautiful face and rides a camel, but as one looks down from the uh, crown upon his head, his body starts to distort with scaled hands, frog-like feet, a spine that curves into a pig-like tail, and sometimes he appears combined to the camel. He has a hoarse voice, but sits himself high and never lets anyone bar Lucifer stand higher than himself. Realm Hell. Abilities: he can see into the future, give titles, and he is one of the members of Hell that is petitioned to when there is a problem amongst the demonic courts. His loyalty to Lucifer means he is less biased than others, and so he often uses his abilities of foresight and knowing the truth to give wisdom, answer questions, and even pass judgments if requested. Master Lucifer. Personality: pompous, arrogant, and seemingly all-knowing. He tends to think that his word is law, and everyone should revere him. He likes others to envy him, and cannot allow himself to leave his hall without fanfare and a show. He doesn't care if he's viewed as more akin to a circus attraction than a regal envoy, because he knows he's got power and they haven't. Relations: Raphael, one of his enemies. Paimon has the unfortunate experience of meeting Raphael on Earth and being slapped around the face and sent back to hell by a fish. It's a point he's sensitive about and thus despises Raphael. Leviathan, one of his lovers whom he is around regularly. They have a fondness for showing up others and causing envy, as well as appearing kingly and queenly. Paimon and Leviathan are rare in being able to stand each other's company for quite a long time, which is unusual for any of the kings of hell, and often equates them to being married. Berith, his daughter with Leviathan. Paimon is not happy when Berith decides to follow after Bol, but he is proud she's not going at a small level. He does, however, see the future coming, and so refuses to give her any advice or even speak to Bol, so that he cannot share information with him, but shares it all with Lucifer, even though Berith hates her father for turning against them. Labol, one of Paimon's lackeys. Labol was once just an ordinary angel in Paimon's care, and in battle for aiding to hoist Paimon up alongside Balaam. Paimon rewards them by making them kings of his patch of hell. Labal is the one more obedient to Lucifer and always advises his master to consider Lucifer's thoughts in matters. Abalam, another former lower-ranked angel that got into Paimon's favour. Abalam often acts as the opposite number to Labal and will offer Paimon information to consider regarding himself. Would giving these answers aid Paimon, or could they use this to manipulate more to their side? Abalam is the one that will hold Labal back at times, so that Paimon gets a sacrifice to him. Sperion, once an angel that sang in the choirs upon his fall, Sperion became a mad preacher, calling out to the universe and making a point that Lucifer's way was the right way. Paimon keeps him in his court to always recite the oath to Lucifer and remind them all of the fall. Beleth, the fellow king and debatably more powerful and certainly more aggressive, he and Paimon clash regularly because Beleth likes to spread his powers and bully the other kings, to the point many of them actually go out and travel the veil to avoid him and his aggressions in hell. Paimon can actually fight, but Beleth is stronger and can easily twist his minions and others to his side, and Paimon knows he's nothing without his followers, so often holds himself back. History. Although claiming he was once a dominion in heaven, Paimon was in fact a simple cherub that had desires for grandeur and is said to have been the one to crown the lion with a mane. However, he's a liar regarding his past, so only Lucifer knows he was so low down it was hard to care about him. However, he made the smart move to join with Lucifer early on, and for having an understanding of prophecy and what is to come, Paimon uses it to aid Lucifer in going against the other angels. For doing so, when he falls, he is cursed to always answer questions no matter what, and this means telling the truth and being at risk from it. He is also shown as he falls the rise of Baal, and indeed the great many things that will happen in the world that he will have no ability to influence or change. In hell, Paimon finds himself granted power by Lucifer and position, but because Lucifer alone knows he was nothing, The others often forgetting much of heaven. Paimon is forever obedient to Lucifer and would do his best to try and steer all things towards Lucifer's goals, even when he cannot do anything against Baal but avoid him desperately. Final comments. I wrote Paimon as Duke of Hell in Leviathan's profile, but he's a king. Sorry about that. I would also suggest Legends of History's piece on Paimon, which is pretty good, and I would also recommend him to actually read through a lot of this stuff, as his work is easy to sit back and listen to. So you'll notice I'm making a point of putting him in the sources where I do use his stuff here. He has a channel on YouTube, and like I've used him as a source before, like because he covered all of the less he, sorry, he covered all of the Solomon summoning demons and stuff to with the ring thing, that story, and he's done good ones about Lilith and things like that in the past, and it's nice to have that there, as this is what someone else is putting together and discussing, and the way he narrates is very good, so I would recommend that channel, and they really are a good channel, especially when we've got so much AI slop at the moment. And as a point on that, as you'll notice, I always doodle my terrible doodles, so you will never see me using AI slop to do a picture for any of these things. Oh, hello, Stormy. Cat on my knee. So, yeah. Do know I don't use AI to find my answers or get my research, because I'm old school and have books on my shelf that are coated with dust, give me conjunctivitis when I don't use them enough, and then get dust in my eye. So yeah, I I do use other websites, of course, and some of them are really tatty websites, but I like to have a bit of what is out there, because then it feels like I can make a character that's more unique rather than just copy and paste, copy and paste. So I hope you find that interesting. The sources, as always, are listed in the bottom. I haven't got many this time, but yeah, thank you very much.